Just as in our bodies, several vitamins and minerals are required to keep, us healthy and strong. And the deficiency of such vitamins and minerals could lead to malnutrition, sickness, and maybe death. So also in relationship, several gestures, actions, and attitudes are required, to keep a relationship healthy. Now, deficiency of such could lead to the slow death of a relationship. You're welcome to this exciting episode of Finding Love. I am Grace Renner. Finding love is a relationship and marriage show that instills the right foundation for marriage, with the understanding that God is the originator of marriage. It is a useful insight for anyone who is ready for the journey of marriage and desires to do the way the Creator has designed it. Now, at this point, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. If you're new, please subscribe. Now, click on the notification bell so that whenever I upload a video, you'll get a prompt to watch my video. And also like and share my video. Just support my video as much as you can. Okay, thank you very much, and I'll be right back. Yeah, welcome back, guys. Now we've been on a series titled um, Lessons from Ruth and Boaz, with the subtitle Character Traits to Look Out for in a Life Partner. And for today, we'll be touching on, the end of part one. Now, so it's supposed to be a long series, but I'm cutting it in bits and bits. So today we're focusing on one of the final aspects of, character traits to look out for in a life partner. And for number 4, we'll be talking about generosity. Now, generosity is a very important character trait to look out for. It's important that you get married to someone who is generous. Now, there are several types of generosity or several ways to show generosity, which involves your thoughts, your words, things, your money, your time, yourself. Now, but because of time, I'll be focusing on 3 aspects of, showing generosity, which is your time, yourself, and your monetary resources. So giving of your time, giving of yourself, giving of your monetary resources. So let's talk about your time. Your time, being able to give of your time. Now, time is one of the most important, aspects of generosity. Being able to give of your time. It's important that you are present. You are able to, make sacrifices, show some acts of services, being able to be present to give of your time. Not just being present alone, but being able to, do things with your time, for people. This is a sign that you are generous with your time. A lot of marriages fail because one of the partners is not always available. Maybe too busy for them, or too, should I say, too tired to, give of your time. And over time, this thing starts to break the marriage. This thing starts to worry the marriage. This thing starts to, spoil the marriage. So it's important that you are generous with your time to maintain a healthy relationship. It's like a vitamin for the relationship. Being able to give of your time, your presence, your acts of service, being able to do things for your partner with your time. Now, the second aspect of giving could be giving of yourself. Now, this is not just only, being present, it's about being attentive, being present, being attentive. Now, you could also be attentive even in your absence. For instance, you can be by yourself and think of somebody, the person's thought to occupy your mind. Being giving of yourself requires you being, showing somebody that they are all in your mind, they're in your thoughts, that you are attentive to them. You can actually be in someone's presence and they might not have your attention, but someone can actually be in your be I mean you can actually be absent physically but have someone's full attention. For instance, you can call someone and say, "Oh, I'm just thinking about you. I'm at so so and so place. What can I get you?" Or, "Oh, we had a conversation about your grandmother being ill. How is she feeling?" Or, "Oh, you are together and the person is telling you stuff and you are listening." The person gets distracted and you're like, "Oh, no, I know you were talking about, how so 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 and so happened." Oh yeah, the person realizes that you were paying attention. So being able to give of yourself is being able to pay attention. A lot of marriages are failing because someone is not paying attention. Or for example, your wife tells you she wants to go and make her hair, and she spends hours in the salon trying to look good, and she comes in even with the smell of the hair cream, the shimmering of the hair. You don't even compliment her and say, oh, this hair is lovely. You probably didn't even notice because maybe you're watching TV or you are too burdened about, whatever challenges you're going through. These things actually spoil marriages. Or a man has come in, he has, dressed up, decked up, looked all good for work, and he's stepping out of the house. You won't even say, nice shoes. Oh, your shoes are, looking good. Or nice socks. You matched your socks well. Those attention, those things actually feed the relationship. They make the relationship healthy and strong. That's an aspect of generosity. And then third aspect, giving of your monetary resources. Now means being able to give money, being able to, share your resources with your partner, being able to give both material things and, resources to aid in the well-being of your partner. Some people say, if you say you love me, show me. Some people interpret being able to support them, in the areas of their needs as love. That is how they understand it. There are different types of love languages. There's the one that has acts of service, there's giving of gifts, so people's love tanks get filled up in different ways. So being able to, give of your monetary resources shows that you are a generous person. Okay, for instance, I said I was having a conversation this morning, and she said one of the ways that to show a love a woman is give her money. One, three ways: give her money. Number two, give her money. Number three, give her more money. you know. Now, so I'm talking a lot about money, but really, you cannot talk about generosity and not talk about money. Sometimes look at your wife, see how her hair is looking, and say, take. Look at your girlfriend. Oh, I saw this hairstyle on somebody, and I think it will look good on you. How much will it cost to make it? Give the person. So giving of your time as a show of generosity, being present, being able to run errands for this person, being able to sacrifice your own thing to do something for them is a sign of generosity. Then giving of yourself, being attentive, paying attention to details, listening to conversations, listening so that your mind is present, not just that, oh yes, okay, it's true. And then they ask you, so what was I saying? You're like, oh sorry, what were you saying? I've forgotten, because you were not really paying attention. Or and then, like I said, giving of your monetary resources, being able to give money, being able to give gifts, being able to show that you love them. We've been talking about Ruth and Boaz. I mean, Boaz showed us clearly that he's a generous man. First, you saw a strange woman on your field. You did not say, what is she doing here? She's not working for me, so why is she here? No, he said, they should let her. Even told her there's water, take water. Even after she was done, he said, leave these things on the floor for her to pick. Let me even read another scripture where you see clearly that he was a generous man. Let's look at Ruth from chapter 2 verse 14 to 19. It says, at lunchtime Boaz called to her, come and eat with us. So she sat with the reapers, and he gave her food more than she could eat. But boy, generous. Try. Then he said, and when she went back to work again, Boaz told his young men to let her glean right among the sheaves without stopping her. Generosity. I mean, he wasn't even bothered that, whatever she would pick would have been added to his own. No, he said, let her. Then, and to snap off some heads of barley and drop them on purpose for her to glean, and not to make any remarks. You see? And then it says, she carried it back into the city and gave it to her mother-in-law. She was another generous person. She gave. You can't say you love and you don't give. Giving is part of, sharing, giving is part of love, it's part of kindness. So love is sharing, love is giving. She gave. See, she received, she gave. She's a generous person. And then with what was left of her lunch, she went to go and eat with Boaz, and she carried what she had left to go and give her mother-in-law. That's generosity. And then, so much, Naomi exclaimed, Where in the world did you glean today? Praise the Lord for whoever was so kind to you. I've been talking about kindness, generosity, giving, loving. So Ruth told her mother in law all about it and mentioned that the owner of the field was Boaz. Fantastic. Now, let me also add to it Ruth 3:15. It says, bring your shore. Now, before this, after this part of her taking food to her mother, now the mother told her, go to where he will be at night, spread his shawl over your legs, he will get the message and all of that. Now after they had this conversation, when Ruth was about to leave, now this was the next conversation. He said, bring your shawl, he told her. Then he tied up a bushel and half of a barley in it as a present for her mother-in-law and laid it on her back. Then she returned to the city. Well, what happened there? Naomi asked her when she arrived home. She told Naomi everything and gave her the barley from Boaz and mentioned his remark that she mustn't go home without a present. Ah! Boaz finished work. As in, she could have just as well just gone. But he said, no, bring your shawl. He measured some barley and gave her. And he said, she must not go home empty handed. This is a major, I mean, if you are listening to this, for me, to say this is a revelation. Let me give a personal example. When I newly met my husband, because I'd been reading so much about the book of Ruth. So I already had an idea of the kind of man that I wanted. And God actually showed me. Now, when I met my husband, there was never a time we will meet that he will let me go empty handed. In fact, it started from the first day we met. As I entered his car, the first day, he just handed me a bottle of water. And I was like, what's happening? Because I had never experienced that before. I didn't tell him I was thirsty. I didn't tell him I wanted water. He was drinking flavored water. And then he had an extra bottle. He carried it because when I asked him eventually, he said he carried it because of me. So he already had the mind to be generous, to be kind, to give me water. And then he just carried the water. As I just sat down, he said, take. I looked at him and said, this one is different. I took the water. But every time, there was even a time after I had visited, I think it was on a Valentine's Day, he made me spaghetti and meatballs. The remaining one, the next day, he carried it and brought, because I had my brother and my friend living with me at the time. He carried it and brought for us to eat. He had these Boaz's traits already. So it's important that you look out for someone who is generous. Someone who is generous. This thing just makes the marriage sweet. It makes the relationship work. It is an ingredient. It is a vitamin that keeps a relationship from dying. I mean, generosity from both ends, not just the man, from the woman as well. From time to time, even as a lady, look at what your fiance, your boyfriend, or whoever it is you're dating might need. If it's a belt, if you see anyone somewhere, buy him a belt. If it's a socks, oh, I saw these socks, I think it might match one of those your trousers or your belt or your shoe or your shirt or your tie. Oh, kind gestures like that. And Boaz showed us example. Ruth also in her own way showed examples. So it's important that people, whoever it is you're looking to be married to, is a generous person. You see, these three forms of generosity: your time, yourself, and your resources or your monetary resources are very essential to maintain a relationship. For example, if you give someone your time and you do not give them of yourself, your attention, and your resources, your financial resources to support them, it's not enough. If you give somebody your financial resources and you do not give them your time and your attention, it's not enough. These three are intertwined. They help the other ones. They complete a relationship. Your time, your money, or your time, your financial resources, or your monetary resources, and your what's it called now, yourself, your attention. Okay, now let's talk about ways that you know a person who is not generous. Now, it's easy to know someone that is generous. Now, to know a person that is not generous, number one, they are never present. They do not know how to part with their time. you know Everything is going to waste their time, in their own opinion. They are not present. So if you're dating someone who is not generous, they are hardly ever available. It's not as if they cannot make themselves available, but it's not just in them to be generous with their time or they find it difficult to do favors for you that will eat into their time. So this is a sign of someone who is not generous. Number two, they are not attentive. Like, they do not know how to pay attention to listen to details that are about other people. They are somewhat self-centered. It's about them from the beginning to the end of the conversation. Now, someone who is not attentive, you know, you would notice that when you are having conversations, when they give their own opinions, after a point, when you start talking, they start dozing off. They do not know how to pay attention to other people. They do not know how to listen to things about other people or listen to other people talk. It's all about them, you know. So this is how you know someone who is not generous, not being able to pay attention, being able to pay attention. Attention is a form of generosity. Number three way that you will know someone who is not generous is that they are not cheerful or kind with their resources. They are stingy. You know what they call akagom, they find it difficult to give, whether to give you money or to give you gifts or to pay for your transport fare. I mean, I think it was Mopsy that shared one story about a man sometime, a family friend or so, that he will say things like he cannot give a woman that is not married money, that because he doesn't want a case whereby after giving her his money, giving her his financial resources, she doesn't marry him. Or one of the what's the thing that people used to say, sef, that don't give someone that you're not married money, this and that. Oh boy, that one is wrong. If you invite a girl out to come and spend time with you and you can afford to pay for her transport fare, it's only more credit being added to you, that you are, caring enough to even say, okay, let me put this girl in an Uber and pay for it. It doesn't mean that if she doesn't end up marrying you, then you have wasted your resources. No, that's your character. Kindness should be a part of your character. I mean, I'm not just saying it from my head. I'm saying it because we have a role model, Boaz. He could have as well said, I mean, he didn't even know he was going to marry her eventually. He just saw her working in his place and he was kind to her. He was kind to her, even after he had the conversation about, marry or no marry. He knew that there was a possibility that it would end up being his kingsman, that the guy who he said was his relative that was going to marry her. But he didn't look at all of that. He still was kind enough he said, I do not want you to go home empty handed. So anybody that is telling you that any girl that you're not married to, don't show her love, don't be kind enough to take care of her, it's not true. Now, there's a difference between someone who is not where you know that this person is playing you, the person doesn't have any interest in you whatsoever, whereby you know that this person is just playing games. Now, it's different, but when you have shown interest in someone, you make the first move. Show your own kindness. It doesn't matter. Show your kindness and take good care of the person to the extent that you can. Number four way to know a person who is not generous is that they wait for you to, request for things, to let them know that they have needs or that you have needs. No matter how vivid they are, they will never act based on what you need. They would always wait for you to ask them for stuff. No matter how vivid these things are. Now, for example, you are dating a girl or you are dating a guy, let me say, and you notice that he's wearing a socks. He's been wearing that one socks over and over and over again, and you can actually afford to buy him a new pair. Maybe he has the money to buy it, but he probably doesn't see the need to buy another one, or maybe he doesn't even have the money. If you pass by a shop where you see nice socks that you can afford, you can actually buy it for him and say, oh, I bought you this, or you're dating a girl and you notice that she's been carrying one hair for 4 weeks and it's already getting old and probably even smelly. You can actually say, this is your hair. What would you like to do? Would you like to change it? Things like that. You don't even have to wait till the hair is old and smelly. You could actually just change it for her. Don't wait. There are some people that you might be dating them and they might have a challenge somewhere. You've seen maybe they're going to school and they can't afford to pay school fees just for that semester. Just for that semester. Now, it is very clear that they are stranded. You don't have to wait for them to ask you if you can afford it. If it's within your means, you can just say, take this and support your school fees. So these are signs of generosity, and being generous is a very important trait, in marriage. It's extremely important. It helps a marriage to survive. Number five way to know a person who is not generous is that self-sacrificing is a big deal for them. Like they make everything a big deal. Oh, for instance, maybe um they're supposed to drop you off. Maybe there's a little traffic and they're like, "Ah, if I drop you off now, I'm going to now enter." Maybe it's not such a mad traffic, but just the fact that the thought of traffic, they cannot make that sacrifice. Or, you know, it could be that you are very busy and you need them to drop something off for you, and they're like, ah, oh, this your neighbors again. I like greeting, greeting, greeting. Ah, I can't go to your house. Those things. They can't make small, small sacrifices. They find it difficult. Everything is a big deal. Everything is a big deal. Or maybe you need their car for something, they can't release it. Ah, this might break. I'm the only one that can manage it. Or okay, can you drop me? Ah, I don't have the time to drop you. They don't know how to part with their time. Everything is such a big deal. They cannot make sacrifices. So it's it's important that you look out for people who are willing to part with their time, who are willing to make sacrifices. That's a sign of generosity. Number six way to know someone who is not generous is that they announce their giving. Everyone must know what they have given to whomever they have given. Because it's a big deal. They're not used to being generous. So every time they give, they must announce it. You must know. Everybody must know. Oh, I gave so and so person. Oh, this person was hungry and I gave her food. Oh, this one was this and I gave her transfer fare. Oh, this one. They tend to announce everything that they give. That's a sign of someone who is not generous. Okay. Number seven way to know a person who is not really generous is that they give to receive. Their intentions for giving are not always right. When they give you, they give with the intention that they want to receive something from you in return. Meanwhile, a generous person on the other hand gives just for the sake of giving. They're not really bothered about what they will get from you in return. We'll be using Ruth and Boaz as an example. Ruth knew that her mother-in-law couldn't produce any other son for her, but she gave of herself. Oh, I will follow you to anywhere you're going. Let's go. You know, she knew that her mother-in-law couldn't get up to go and provide food, but she got up and gave her time. Let me go and provide. Boaz knew that there was a tendency that he wasn't going to end up with Ruth because, of course, there was somebody else that was supposed to first, they were supposed to acknowledge first before he go ahead for to marry her before he could decide if he was going to marry her. But he didn't mind. He just was already giving. They give because they want to give, not because they have any intentions of receiving. So anybody who gives with the intention of receiving is not a generous person. This person's intentions are not right. Lastly, another way to know a person who is not generous is the fact that they have an entitlement mentality. Like they find it difficult to say thank you because they feel that people owe them. They feel that theirs is to be receiving and others are to be doing the giving. So that is the mindset. If you know someone who is entitled, trust me, they're always very stingy. Someone who has this mentality that everybody owes them or people owe them or, they're not supposed to say thank you because you're supposed to do it anyway. Look out for that person. They're always very stingy. They don't tend to part with their stuff, their time, their money, or themselves. They don't know how to give. It's not in their nature to give because already they have the mindset of a receiver. It's about them, 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 them. Okay, so let us come to an end of this first part of character traits to look out for in a life partner using Ruth and Boaz as an example. Now on our next episodes of Final Level, we'll still touch on other things. Then we will come back to discussing more character traits to look out for in a partner using Ruth and Boaz as an example. Now, we have a prayer group for anyone who wants to do corporate prayers. So, if you are interested in corporate prayers, maybe you are a single lady who is believing God for a partner, or a single guy who wants to be married and you want to join the group, or you are a married woman or married man who wants to pray for the health of your marriage, or you are a parent and you want to pray for your child, maybe currently or future, you can indicate by sending me a message via this WhatsApp number on your screen. Just send me a message saying, "Hi, I'm interested in joining the prayer group." Now, it's important that you indicate while you're messaging me so that I can add you to the group. Trust me, there's been loads and loads of testimonies, okay? And who knows, your testimony might just be in the group. All right, or you're joining the group. All right, thank you so much for listening, for watching, for being a part of this video. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and please share the video. Please support my video. I remain Grace Rena. See you on another very exciting episode of Finding Love. Thank you.